Hi. So welcome to this another beautiful episode of Cat Question of the Day series, and I am Kamal Lohia, and today we are going to solve this very special question on algebra, right? Our topic was square quadratic, right? So we are having a polynomial here, quadratic polynomial, and we want it to be perfect square. So अगर आपने सवाल पहले solve नहीं किया है तो this is your time. Please solve it, and we are going to see the basic normal method, right? The traditional way, and we are also going to see our alternate approach also, right? An alternate approach. So please stay tuned till end of the video. Fine. So your time starts now. Please solve it together. Please solve it on your own first. Okay, so I've said it repeatedly in many of the previous sessions as well, that the first condition to solve questions always is that read properly. ध्यान से पढ़िए, अच्छे से पढ़िए. So now let's read it together. It says that for how many positive integers n? So we got one information about n. N कैसा number है? N is a positive integer, right? What is the meaning of positive integer? That means 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Basically natural number, right? It's a natural number. So we have to find out how many values of n are possible, right? How many positive integers n are possible. Condition क्या है जी? So that the quadratic polynomial n square plus n plus 11 is a perfect square, right? So we want this polynomial, quadratic polynomial. Let me write it. So n square, it is plus n plus 11. This becomes a perfect square. This should be a perfect square. Now, what is the meaning of perfect square? Perfect square, you know that it is a square of is a square number. It should be a square number, isn't it? तो स्क्वायर ऑफ इंटीजर ही होना जरूरी है क्या? क्या ये स्क्वायर ऑफ डेसिमल वेसिमल कुछ हो सकता है क्या? नो नो, दैट इज नॉट कॉल्ड a square. So when we talk about this perfect square, it means square of an integer. See, you can see here n is going to be a positive integer. So if n is a positive integer, let's assume any value. If n is a positive integer, this number is a positive integer, n square, right? N is also a positive integer, fine. 11 is already a positive integer. That means sum of these three numbers is also going to be positive integer. So एक positive integer को perfect square कब बोलते हैं? When it is square of an integer, right? So it should be, let me write here, it should be square of an integer. That's it. So किस इंटीजर का स्क्वायर बनाना है ऐसा तो कुछ कंडीशन नहीं है. There could be many values. So that's what the question is कि n की ऐसी कितनी पॉजिटिव इंटीजर वैल्यूज हैं for which this expression is going to be square of an integer, or basically a perfect square. Is that fine? That was the question. As I said, we need to read carefully. That was the first thing. We have tried to read carefully. Okay, so but sir, what to do? How to solve it? बिकॉज हमें ये तो मालूम नहीं कि इसको किसके इक्वल करना है. अगर यहाँ पे वैल्यू दे देते थे भाई इसको 1 बनाना है या 4 बनाना है या 9 बनाना है या 16 बनाना है, basically I'm talking about the square values, right? So if something had been given here, then I'm sure you could solve the quadratic equation using the quadratic formula or factorization or whatever things, है ना. लेकिन यहाँ तो वैल्यू गिवन ही नहीं है, तो क्या क्या वैल्यू चेक करें? Do we need to check all the values? Yes, perhaps. So but in spite of putting the values, let's work with variables, right? We can work with variables. So let me write it as that n square plus n plus 11, let it be equal to some a square where a is some integer. Fine. So in spite of putting different values and checking, it may take whole lot of time, and still we can't be sure कि इसके अलावा और केसेस बनेंगे कि नहीं बनेंगे, है ना. That could be a difficult situation. So let's take it to be a variable and let's solve it. So how we can solve it, sir? So what we can do? I want to complete it. I want to complete the square basically. I want to make it a perfect square. तो अभी तो ये perfect square जैसा दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है. If I multiply throughout by 4, fine. Let's listen carefully. I'm multiplying throughout by 4. What will happen? That will become 4n square plus 4n plus 44 equals to 4 square. Any problem? Not at all. It's perfectly fine. Okay, लेकिन इसका क्या फायदा होगा? What is the benefit? Let's see now. I told you I want to make it a complete square, basically completing the perfect square. That is our way, right? So it becomes 2n whole square. This is 2n whole square, and this, if you see, it is 2 times 2n into 1, isn't it? See, are you able to relate? A square plus b square plus 2ab, right? So this is a square and this is 2ab. So b must be 1. Basically, if I have this 1 square also here, now this was not already there, but I'm putting it, I'm making it like that. So अगर मैं ऐसा लिख लेता हूं, so what is the benefit? This complete expression becomes a perfect square. It is 2n plus 1 whole square. Yes or no? Yes. Now that is called completing the perfect square. Fine. इसका फायदा आगे क्या लेंगे देखते हैं अभी. So 1 square means 1. So out of 44 I have already used 1. What is remaining now? 43. So let me put 43 here. This is plus 43 and this is equal to, this is 2a whole square. Fine, where a is certain integer that we don't know the value right now. Okay, anyhow, so now this is a perfect square, this is a perfect square, and if I take this on the other side, so we'll be having the difference of two perfect square to be 43. Let me write that. This would be 2a square minus, this is now 2n plus 1 whole square to be equal to 43. Fine. So now 43 is a prime number. It can be factored as product of two numbers only in two ways, 1 into 43 or 43 into 1, right? If I'm talking about the positive integers, अगर negative भी करेंगे तो negative 1 into negative 43, negative 43 into negative 1, right? Okay, by the way, do you remember any identity here which you can use? Yes, a square minus b square, which is a minus b into a plus b. Okay, so first let me write the negative part, a minus b, that is 2a minus 2n minus 1 multiplied with 2a plus 2n plus 1. Fine. Now this is product of two integers. Remember a was an integer here. So we are talking about perfect square. So square of integer or square of positive integer. Integer का square तो negative integer का square भी हो सकता है. Positive का भी तो हो सकता है ना. So let's consider a to be positive only. So ये भी positive है, ये भी positive है. अच्छा इसको जाने तो पहले इसको देखते हैं. ये a को मैंने positive मान लिया है तो 2a is positive. 2n is already positive. 11 is also positive. So that means this entire bracket is positive if I'm taking a to be positive integer, right? If it is going to be integer, या तो अगर 0 हो जाए तो अलग बात है. 0 हो जाएगा तो भी क्या फर्क पड़ता है? This is going to be positive. Or if a can be negative, a can be positive also. So considering a to be positive, this term, this bracket is going to be positive. And if it is positive, this must also be positive because this product, entire product is a positive integer 43, right? So let's go by that case. तो अगर ऐसा है तो clearly this is a smaller number, this is a greater number. So 43 can be need to be broken like this, 1 into 43, right? So obviously this is a smaller integer, so this has to be equal to 1 and this second bracket has to be equal to 43. Now we can simplify this to find the possible value of n. I'm sure this is only one pair of two linear equations now. The quadratic we have broken down as a system of linear equations, right? And two variables a and n. And let me write to make it simpler for you. This 2a minus 2n minus 1 equals 1. And the second equation we are having this 2a plus 2n plus 1 equals 43. I hope this part is very clear that why I have taken this to be 1 and this to be 43. See, listen once again. So I talked about this a is going to be an integer. It could be negative or positive or 0 as well, right? If it is 0, then there is no issue. This term is certainly positive, and this term also need to be positive because the product is a positive integer, that is 43. फाइन. अगर a नेगेटिव इंटीजर होता है तो पॉजिटिव भी होगा ही ना, सेम वैल्यू, राइट? अगर सपोज मुझे इसको 4 बनाना है, सपोज इट इज बिकमिंग आउट टू बी 4, तो इट कुड बी -2 का स्क्वायर या +2 का स्क्वायर आल्सो. सो कंसीडरिंग द पॉजिटिव इंटीग्रल वैल्यू ऑफ a, so this term again becomes positive, which also results this term to be a positive integer only. Fine. So finally we are considering that case only when both the terms are positive integer, right? Is that fine? Both the terms are positive integer. Now when both the terms are positive integer, can you tell me which of them is smaller one? This first one or second one? Of course first one. Why? Because 2a में से कुछ term minus कर रहे हैं and second bracket में 2a में वही same term को plus किया जा रहा है. So certainly second one is greater than the first one. This is smaller. So when I'm writing this 43, this right hand side as product of two positive integers, so it is the only possible way, 1 into 43. So 1, the smaller one, is the value of this first bracket, and 43, the larger one, is the value of the second bracket. And that's how we are solving these two equations now. Fine. Now, how to solve this? So if I add these two, I will get the value of a, other part will be cancelled. Let's do that also. If I add them, so this part will be cancelled. So this would be 4a equals 44. That means a equals 11. Right? A equals 11. So basically 11 square, 121 we are making it. By the way, if I put back the value of a as 11 in any of them, let me put it here. I'm putting it here. So if I put this value in the second equation, what do I get? So I get 2 times 11, that is 22, plus 2n plus 1 equals 43, which means this 22 plus 1 is 23. So the 2n would be nothing but 43 minus this 23, which is 20, right? That gives me the value of n as equal to 10. So this is the required answer. That means there is only one possible value. Question was asking about how many values are possible for n, how many positive integers n are possible, such that this equation, this expression is a perfect square. So we are getting only one possible value, that n is equal to 10, and it is a positive integer, that's of course. So that satisfies. And if you wish to check, you can check also. If I put n as 10 here, what will be the value? So 10 square, that is 100, plus 10, that is 110, and plus 11, that makes it 121, which is 11 square as it was supposed to be. Fine. Okay, so this was a traditional way, and you find many such questions in examination, and this is the way, right? Now I was talking you that how we could solve it in an alternate, in a better way, in a faster way. Now you'll see here. See, this is the important part here when it says that n is a positive integer. If n is a positive integer, we already talked about this. So this is going to be square of a positive integer, right? This is going to be square of positive integer. Now please listen and think carefully and tell me कि ये जो n square plus n plus 11 है, let me write it here, n square plus n plus 11, is it more than n square or not? Yes or no? Certainly yes, it is certainly more than n square. n square से तो ज़्यादा ही है ना, n square से ये ज़्यादा है, n square is more than this, right? So n square is less than n square plus n plus 11, fine. अच्छा, क्या ये n plus 1 whole square से भी ज़्यादा है क्या? Let's see, n plus 1 whole square कितना होता है? n plus 1 whole square is n square plus 2n plus 1. No, I don't know. So it depends upon the value of n, right? So maybe this is greater, or maybe that is greater, or maybe both are equal, right? Anything could be possible. So not sure about that. Okay, if I talk about n plus 2 whole square, in that case, n plus 2 whole square, which is actually n square plus 4n plus 4, isn't it? So now if I see n square is the common term, but n से तो ज़्यादा 4n है, but 11 से कम 4 है, right? So again, I don't know whether this term is, this expression is more or less than n plus 2 whole square, not sure. If I take n plus 3 whole square, in that case, it becomes n square plus 6n plus 9, right? So again, you can see 6n is more than n, but 11 is more than 9, right? So we're still not sure. So these are three values possible, which could be in between. But if I talk about n plus 4 whole square, what would be n plus 4 whole square? Let me not write, just think and tell me. N plus 4 whole square would be n square, which is equal, and plus 8n, which is certainly more than n, plus 16, which is again more than 11, isn't it? So certainly this expression, this quadratic expression, is less than n plus 4 whole square. Are you getting that? Are you getting that? Let me repeat once again. What did I say? मैंने बोला कि n square plus n plus 11 is certainly greater than n square, because n is a positive integer, and it is certainly less than n plus 4 whole square. Why? Because n square to equal आ गया, but 8n is more than n, and 16 is also more than 11. So this entire expression is certainly more than that. Achha, but about in between expressions, in between three expressions we have already written, so we don't know, we are not sure about that, whether they are equal to this or what, right? Some of them can be more, some of them can be less, not sure about that, right? Now coming back to the original question. Our question is not about कि ये इसके बराबर है या नहीं है. My question is that I want this to be a perfect square, isn't it? That's our question. We want this expression to be a perfect square, right? We want it to be a perfect square. And between n square and n plus 4 whole square, can you tell me which are the other perfect squares which lie between these two values, n square and n plus 4 whole square? Sir, it is just these three values, isn't it? Just these three values, nothing else is possible. That means at most n could have three maximum possible values, right? Positive integral values, positive values basically, so that it could have become a perfect square. Now let's check out. So अगर n square plus n plus 11 इसके equal है, right? So it will be a perfect square. We can find the value of n. Same way, either it is going to be equal to this first expression, first perfect square between them, or the second one, or this third one. Nothing else is possible, isn't it? Is that clear? Yes. Now let's check quickly. So I'm just going to equate them. Now n square plus n plus 11 is going to be equal to n square plus 2n plus 1. So what happens in this case if I equate them? So n square is cancelled. So 2n plus n. So 2n plus 1 let me write it here. This is 2n. I want this 2n plus 1 should be equal to n plus 11, right? I'm not writing n square once again because n square is same part. So this remaining part should also be equal if this is the case. So if it happens, what happens? So we get this n comes out to be equal to 10. Wonderful. These are the same answer which we got after so much calculations, right? But this could be answered very quickly. This could be answered very quickly, isn't it? Okay, so this is one case. Let's talk about the other two cases. Do we get any positive integral values there? Let's see. So in the second case, agar n square plus n plus 11, it is a perfect square between them. With the second case means it is equal to this part. What happens then? So here I wish that this 4n plus 4, this 4n plus 4 comes out to be equal to n plus 11. So let's see what happens. So this would be 3n. That comes out to be 11 minus 4, which is 7. But this doesn't give you value of n to be a positive integer. So that's why this is discarded, right? अगर यहाँ पे integer की condition ना होती, so this is also a possible value. But we are talking about integers because square का मतलब ही यही था, right? Anyhow, so this is not a possible value for this present question. Let's take the third case as well. So it talks about the 6n plus 9 should be equal to n plus 11. अगर n square plus n plus 11 को ये वाला perfect square के बराबर होना है तो this 6n plus 9, let me write. So 6n plus 9 should have been equal to n plus 11, isn't it? So again you can see that it comes out to be 5n equals 2, which means n is 2 by 5, which is not a positive integer. So only one case is possible, that is n equals to 10. So question was here asking that for how many positive integers n this expression is a perfect square. So obviously there is only one positive value, one positive integral value, that value is 10. We have figured out it using both the different approaches. Fine, I hope you may have learned this and now you are able to use it in your examinations. Thank you.